Hey guys, welcome back. Just a very quick video as I'm on my way to meet Hungarian Andy and we're cycling to a place called the Warlock Stone, which is appropriately named the Warlock Stone as it's where the local witches and warlocks used to meet to perform witchcraft. It's a super interesting story. So basically I've been making content for BBC's The Social and I started making some really spooky content. There'll be a video out soon on the BBC about the ghost of the Green Lady at Cragleauche Castle. Also a behind the scenes video here as well, which will be cool. And yes, I thought witches might be a good angle to take as well because we've all heard of the witches in Scotland that were burned. Many of them burned at the castle gate in Aberdeen. Now I'm in Aberdeenshire and I recently learned that a lot of the witches actually came from the Shire and that the Warlock Stone is very, very close to where I live. So I did a little research and it turns out that the University of Edinburgh have created a website, and on this website it has the names of all the people that have been accused of witchcraft. And it just so happens that there's 3,141 people from Scotland that were accused of witchcraft, most of whom were obviously burned or drowned or horrifically killed somehow. So I decided to look into their website and get a bit more information and stuff, which is a fascinating little website. It gives you their names, their ages, where they were killed, and there is quite a lot of information that's been gathered from the church records. So this is where it started to get really interesting because I was looking through this website and looking at the witches and stuff, and specifically the ones who live around here near the Warlock Stone, and I discovered that actually two of the witches have the same surname as my grandma, which is very weird, as it's a very, very unusual surname, Og. Now, I've never heard of anybody having that surname before that isn't actually relatives of mine. So I asked my dad if he's heard of any of their families with this surname, and he said no. And my family is from this area, so this leads me to believe that I'm a descendant of witches. Now, I spoke to a local historian who pointed out to me that actually there's a third person from nearby who is probably a relative of mine as well, who was also accused of witchcraft and killed for witchcraft. But the spelling was a little bit different, but it just so happens that back then actually people just couldn't spell, so that's why we get the different versions of the same surnames. Mental. So yeah, descendant of witches, which would explain a lot about my family, a lot. Yeah, it's madness. Okay, so the Warlock Stone. So what is the Warlock Stone? So the Warlock Stone was where the Deeside Coven of Witches met, led by Warlock Colin Massie. Now funnily enough, having looked at this website, there is a lot more male witches than you would have ever expected. There was a lot of men burned as witches too. You just don't hear about it. The Aberdeen witch trials of 1596 to 97 list the names of the witches and their crimes, which included summoning Satan at this very spot. Now, through these church records, we can see what they were accused of, and they used this stone near my house to summon Satan, which means there's a gateway to hell not far from where I live, which is fascinating. So we're definitely going to head there soon. And yeah, so why would the witches summon Satan at the Warlock Stone? And the reason is they were accused of summoning Satan to perform witchcraft, obviously, but also to have orgies. They had orgies with the devil. And if my research is anything to go by, my ancestors had orgies with the devil. Would my family have orgies with the devil in modern times? No, maybe one of my uncles, but I won't name anybody. Or I'll get into trouble. The locals, who grew tired of the local witches and warlocks summoning Satan for orgies, decided that the only way to stop these satanic orgies was to split the stone in half. And now, when you visit the stone, you see that it's now in two pieces. A local legend states, however, to this day, if you go near the witch's stone, you can't hear any of the birds singing or any of the wildlife in the forest. Pretty creepy. So yeah, if you think that'll make for an interesting story for The Social, and if it's something you want to hear more about in the form of that video that I'm gonna pitch to my producer. Let me know in the comments if you think it would be a fun one or not. And yeah, and then I'll get on it or not. Yeah, should be fun though. Satanic orgies, my god, wild. Catch you there.